Welcome to Who's Lucid News Report. We collect and count the coins of experience to come to a consensus of what's cracking here at Camp Human, our home here at Earth. As we call it at Who's Lucid What Now, the multidimensional news for the metaphysically open-minded. In micromedia news, David Wilcock of DivineCosmos.com has also been threatened in his recent push against micromedia itself. Why the threat? Well, he's adding to the evidence, the growing evidence, of false scarcity of commodities in this world, like gold. Ooh, precious gold. The PowerPoint in particular that David pushed on some particularly powerful people pertains to a $1 trillion lawsuit. And since it's official, let us read the details, shall we? South District of New York, case number 1-11-CV-08-500 JFK. Plaintiff Neil F. Keenan, representing himself as an agent for the quote-unquote Dragon family and citizens of foreign states. Defendants include Office of International Treasure Control and the United Nations. I want to take a quick moment to comment on the situation with David Wilcock, or as I lovingly refer to him sometimes as David Wilcasey. Either way, this game, quote-unquote, is very serious. And for those of us who are outspoken or actively involved in researching this suppressed information, it's quite real, these threats. And one never really knows how they're going to react the first time they encounter it. Well, now David has a chance to know how he's going to react and how to react differently in the future. And just like any game, there can be some inherent danger and people can get hurt. And in this situation, I kind of liken it to baseball. You know, whether Little League or the major leagues. Whenever there's a person who gets hit by a pitch, the person goes down and they take time out of the game, it's always the person that goes down and is there for a while in pain who gets the most claps as they get up and make their way off to their base, as opposed to the person who takes the pitch, goes to the base in stride and just does their job. They usually go unappreciated quite often. So in this situation, you know, go easy on David. He just got beamed by a pitch. Hurts a lot. And another dangerous micromedia news, independent internet radio station Universal Truth Evolution decided to go on hiatus amongst rumors of death threats and encouragement or discouragement, depending on how you look at it from Men in Black. Are these just rumors? What's the fact? What isn't? Either way, Universal Truth Evolution was known for reporting on a lot of the same stuff David Wilcock was mentioning, as well as bringing to light situations concerning projects that most people don't think are real and are science fiction, but are in fact non-fiction, quite reality, including touchy subjects like UFOs, ETs, and secret psychic programs in the government. For more information, check out their archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/universaltruthevolution. A hot topic on all fronts is the signing of the National Defense Authorization Act on Bill of Rights Day. How patriotic. This would grant the United States military authorization to detain United States citizens indefinitely without trial, amongst other things, I'm sure. So, what this glibly means is that if a general tells the president you're Al-Qaeda, and the president believes him, well, they'll grab you. So, pretty important that we keep an eye on this one.
The Patriot Act has eliminated the Fourth Amendment. We now have a policy of preemptive war. You don't have to declare war, and you don't even have to have an enemy. We can start the wars. That's what preemptive war is all about. Now, with the Military Appropriation Defense Act, this is major. This says that the military can arrest an American citizen for under suspicion, and he can be held indefinitely without habeas corpus and denied a lawyer indefinitely, even in a prison here.
On the brighter side, Senator Feinstein of California introduced the Due Process Guarantee Act of 2011 to ensure United States citizens' rights. Good for her. Doesn't mean I trust her, though.
That is Amendment number 1126, which would prohibit United States citizens from being held in indefinite detention without trial or charge.
Hello, citizens of the world. We are anonymous. Dear brothers and sisters, now is the time to open your eyes. In a stunning move that has civil libertarians stuttering with disbelief, the U.S. Senate has just passed a bill that effectively ends the Bill of Rights in America. The National Defense Authorization Act is being called the most traitorous act ever witnessed in the Senate, and the language of the bill is cleverly designed to make you think it doesn't apply to Americans. But toward the end of the bill, it essentially says it can apply to Americans if we want it to. Bill summary and status. 112th Congress, 2011 to 2012, S 1867. Latest title, National Defense Authorization Act 4. This bill, passed late last night in a 93-7 vote, declares the entire USA to be a battleground upon which U.S. military forces can operate with impunity, overriding posse comitatus and granting the military the unchecked power to arrest, detain, interrogate and even assassinate U.S. citizens with impunity. Even Wired magazine was outraged at this bill, reporting, Senate wants the military to lock you up without trial. The detention mandate to use indefinite military detention in terrorism cases isn't limited to foreigners. It's confusing, because two different sections of the bill seem to contradict each other. But in the judgment of the University of Texas Robert Chesney, a nonpartisan authority on military detention, U.S. citizens are included in the grant of detention authority. The passage of this law is nothing less than an outright declaration of war against the American people by the military-connected power league. If this is signed into law, it will shred the remaining tenets of the Bill of Rights and unleash upon America a total military dictatorship, complete with secret arrests, secret prisons, unlawful interrogations, indefinite detainment without ever being charged with a crime, the torture of Americans and even the legitimate assassination of U.S. citizens right here on American soil. If you have not yet woken up to the reality of the police state we've been warning you about, I hope you realize we are fast running out of time. Once this becomes law, you have no rights whatsoever in America, no due process, no First Amendment speech rights, no right to remain silent, nothing. The U.S. Senate does not want us to speak. I suspect even now orders are being shouted into telephones and men with guns will soon be on their way. Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression, and where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic, you turned to the now president in command, Barack Obama. He promised you order. He promised you peace. And all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent. More than 400 years ago, a great citizen wished to embed the 5th of November forever in our memory. His hope was to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They are perspectives. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest that you allow the 5th of November to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside one another, 1 year from November 5th, 2011, outside the gates of every courthouse of every city demanding our rights. Together we stand against the injustice of our own government. We are anonymous. We are legion. United as one. divided by 0. We do not forgive censorship. We do not forget oppression. U.S. Senate, expect us.
Speaking of economic conflict along the lines that David Wilcock and UTE have been reporting on, a non-trade war is going on right now between the United States and China. Search Reuters headline for China-U.S. trade disputes pile up. It reads as a laundry list of trade disputes on a massive scale, many that involve the movement of large quantities of commodities. And when you check out the article, it's all about duties and countervailing duties on goods and stuff. A lot of duty being flung around. And it's time to ground the spacey news. The NSA was recently forced to release records of extraterrestrial transmissions received in the 50s. Who sent them? What do they mean? No one knows, not even them. Officially, of course.